Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT Rostermania. Loads of reaction to Harbor officially released into the game. Pros disagreeing massively on how impactful they believe he will be, but also some leaks coming out from around the world. Yay to Europe, maybe still on the cards, but also Zander revealing potential offers from TSM and elsewhere. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. The support lately has been out of control. Firstly from Heretics, keyloggz we believe will indeed be reuniting with Mixwell. That may indeed be what this tweet is very much implying here. Over at Barcelona, PSG might have been a little bit more applicable to the situation, but close enough. So keyloggz and Mixwell we believe will be over there for the upcoming season. Let's talk Harbor then. So these are some of his, well, all of his abilities. Firstly, the high tide ability, the wall that he can put up here that, well, you can't shoot through. You can move through it. I think if you come through it, maybe you get slowed, but Neon can basically just go through it very easily. So that's one thing to think about. There are some counters to his abilities here. There is, of course, this one as well, the Cascade, which is effectively just like a tidal wave you can bring up. You can actually stop it when you like. So if you kind of, well, throw it out and then click again, then it will just stop where it stands. Seems actually rather powerful, this, because it's kind of like, well, it's not exactly a smoke, but you can use it very easily to block off certain angles, and you can kind of jump through it without too many difficulties. That's the Cascade ability. This is the Cove ability, right, which is effectively just the smoke. This lasts for 12 seconds if nothing happens to it. Now, if you shoot it, you will do enough damage to destroy it, and therefore it will actually go down. But, I mean, yeah, it's a bit interesting because it blocks all bullets, right? And to block all bullets for 12 seconds is pretty impressive. You can shoot through it, but by the time you've shot it down, then you might be in a spot where you're going to struggle a bit to have too many bullets left over. So, yeah, what do you guys think? Because this one to me is pretty powerful. This is effectively the smoke, right, which is the key element potentially of other controller players, and that seems rather strong. And then you've got this, which is, I guess, the ultimate, the Reckoning ability, which, I mean, you can see this from the start. So it kind of throws out the tidal wave thing or the Cascade and then drops this geyser. And I think what this does in a certain area of effect is players that get caught in this geyser will be slowed and stunned. And you can especially see the third guy right here is caught in this geyser and then eventually goes down. But yeah, it's not exactly, I don't know, some people are saying this not exactly so great, just because I think Asuna was using it and he found that players were still killing him through even while they got stunned by the ultimate. But I think there's certain ways to use this which probably will be very effective. So I mean, yeah, those are the abilities for Harbor. What do you guys think about it? It's yeah, 4 pretty solid abilities. They look really cool, but are they a bit too much? Because even Tarek was saying on stream that, well, you know what, like there's too many characters in this game. It's too chaotic now. There's too much happening. The characters are too ridiculous, and every time they add a new character, it's either very viable or like it's just going to cause absolute chaos. Now, some players disagree massively. As BCJ says, Harbor is worse than every controller already in the game when it comes to being a solo controller, and when it comes to 2x controller, still worse than Viper. So sometimes there is a meta where you can use 2 controllers on a certain map, and some have been saying that Harbor coming in, it definitely makes that far more likely that teams will go down a route like that and run double controller. And the flex player can move over to a character like Harbor, but you know, BCJ reckons that Viper can still be the way to go instead. So a lot of people saying, you know what, Viper's still the way to go, but usually when they add these agents, it turns out they're pretty good. So do you agree with BCJ, or do you agree with none other than Yay? We'll see in a second. Vanity also says, my fellow controller players really think we're ever going to touch this agent. Flex guys are eating once again. So that's the thing. He reckons that usually the main smoke player will be something different, and you'll still use an Astra or an Omen or whatever, but then potentially the Flex will use the Harbor, and that's where the fun is going to come in. But Yay reckons this agent's going to be really strong. Harbor seems very strong. I think he will allow for some insane retakes and defaults or execs more so than every other controller agent. We shall see that, which I think is an interesting point, right? That Cascade ability especially, and you know, you can stop that wall where you like. That is going to allow for some very difficult to stop kind of executes, plus the smoke is powerful, plus the wall that you can use as well. It's kind of interesting actually, like if you want to retake a bomb site, like the amount of damage you can do with all the utility. You put out the wall, you chuck it down in a choke point, like the Cascade thing, you then put your tidal wave down to draw a circle around like where your team is retaking from, then you put the smoke down on the bomb site. Like it's going to be so difficult to actually stop a defuse if Harbor just comes through and puts all his utility down to help the retake. So I think that's kind of where Ye's coming from, and I think he makes a fair point as why, well, Harbor may indeed be very strong. But yeah, definitely intrigued to your thoughts, because differing opinions on this throughout the pro scene. Speaking of Ye, Frams actually points out to me here that, as he says, this is why I'm the best operator in Europe, and I mean, yeah, so right now he is over there in Europe, so look, I'm sure he's just joking around here, right? And he's still going to be joining Cloud9, but until it's confirmed and announced, which we may believe is happening tomorrow, because tomorrow is the soft roster lock. block. So I'm expecting C9 to announce tomorrow, but yeah, look, we'll see if he's still there because we haven't really had too many words on that for quite some time. This is also from MIBR. So we heard yesterday they might not exactly be signing the best players, but apparently RGLM, a player that I'm not too familiar with before, well, from the Vivo Key team, is going to be joining them. Some people say he's really good. So yeah, that is probably what MIBR are doing. At least they're in advanced negotiations with this particular player. This is also from DRX. So they're bringing in a new player. Foxy9 is going to be the 6th man of their team. This is something that teams have to do. You have to have a substitute now going into the new season. You have to have a 6-man team. Doesn't mean you have to bring that player in at all because, you know, look, we've seen in the past that some teams will sub in certain players on certain maps if they're more comfortable with it. That may be happening here, and obviously other teams as well, especially in the Pacific region, well, recently have done a similar thing. So yeah, that's what's happening here. Foxy's coming through, or yeah, Foxy9 or whatever is coming through to join this team. So pretty cool stuff. New face of the roster. Now let's talk European region real quick. So lots going on lately. You can actually see here that the Vitality team has been scrimming against Ascend with cNed in the team. Now cNed is not going to be staying, we believe, in Ascend, but I think this Roxy player joined as well. And I mean, yeah, so cNed, I think they're playing one final tournament here. Ascend's like a kind of like a throwback tourney type thing or whatever's going on. So I guess that's why cNed is here. But there's also been this that's pointed out to me that he's kind of, well, doing something or other, as he says here. I wrote a publication today, some sort of, you know, either signed a contract is effectively, I think, what he's trying to get at here. So yeah, good chance it seems that cNed has signed a deal somewhere or other. We heard the rumors with Na'Vi. We also heard the rumors about potentially BBL and even Vitality early on. But yeah, right now I think he's just practicing online with Ascend for this short tournament, and then he's going to be probably announcing soon the roster he will be joining for next season. Let's talk North America. Firstly, this from FNS, because I thought it was interesting that a lot of these guys still have OpTic in their bio and name. FNS has new profile pic. He's got the OpTic thing going on. He's got OpTic in his bio still. Now, one player that doesn't have that is actually Ye. If I just go back here 1 second to Ye's bio, you can see that he's changed it. Professional Valorant player for myself. So OpTic is now gone. Like, yeah, definitely not part of OpTic anymore. But FNS and the rest of the guys still have it, although we believe they're going to NRG, of course. That's the present rumor. Now, one other player from the North American scene, I thought this was crazy, from your boy Dre, former player on LG and other teams like that. I thought a player that's not going to get into tier 1, but he was going to potentially be in and around the ballpark of tier 2. He's going to join Riot Games as a quality assurance engineer. That's really interesting stuff. Retiring from competitive Valorant to pursue this full time. So crazy scenes, right, that are players like Dre, who was kind of up there in consideration for one of the players that could potentially be on the cusp of getting in, is now going to be retiring from Valorant and going to, well, work with Riot Games as a QA engineer. So yeah, crazy scenes. Thought I'd mention that because it's got a lot of traction, and I think understandably so. Now, Sentinels roasting evil geniuses. Does EG know they made franchising? We believe Jorgemo, Com, Busio, plus potentially Supermen and BCJ, who knows? Like, that might be their team of 5. Not exactly spectacular compared to the other teams that are being formed right now, especially Sentinels roster. In fairness, they've been getting roasted a bit as well because they announced TenZ is returning, they've announced Zekken is joining, nothing else thus far, right? So it's not like we know fully what is happening here, but this came out from Zander's stream. I believe he's leaked this either intentionally or like this came out by accident, but this was on Zander's stream, currently on version 1. Now, we don't really know version 1's plans. I think they have stated they probably want to keep going in tier 2, but I think they've also allowed their players to search for offers, right? Because, like, if Zander or others, for example, Zelsis to Cloud9, were going to get offers from tier 1 teams, then they would be able to reap some rewards for doing exactly that. So Zander's stream said the following. Now, of course, he plays with Asuna a fair bit anyway, and I doubt he's going to go to 100T, but some would say, you know what, minus Stella plus Zander, is that a possibility? We think that Stella's going to stay, but, you know, who knows? It's not exactly a guarantee. Now, Nismo in the DMs, as is G2 Rob, and Inox here from TSM. So, yeah, I don't know. Read into this what you guys will, whether Zander's going to 100T, whether he's going to TSM, because TSM, of course, will, we believe, be having a tier 2 team and organization, and, you know, even Nismo trying to get in on the bandwagon as well, because great player from Ghost Gaming, that would be an interesting potential, well, candidate to join a guy like Zander as well. So, yeah, we'll see. Now, G2 also here, which I thought was rather interesting, just because G2, like, they're probably not going to get Zander. Who knows why he's talking to him, but it is what it is. But yeah, TSM, Zander, maybe, or even 100T Zander, who knows? I don't think we can be 100% sure that Stella is going to stay until things get officially confirmed, and it would be kind of a 100 Thieves thing to do to make at least, you know, 2 changes to their roster going into the franchising era we are now going into. Now, just to say this on Sentinels as well, because we know that Sassy and, of course, Pancada are going to join, and look, I mean, what's not to like about this tweet here from from Sassy where he got married yesterday, but this is in TenZ's likes that he likes this tweet of him joining, and he liked some of his own tweets actually. I thought it was kind of interesting here, but he also liked this tweet from Sassy, who we believe is going to be joining the roster very shortly indeed, and even from Pancada yesterday, as he says, official announcement, time to go around the world. So yeah, I think he's doing other stuff as well, but maybe this also implies potentially moving from Brazil over there to North America to play with Sentinels in the Americas franchise league based out of Los Angeles. It will be for the upcoming seasons. That's kind of it with the updates for today, but just to mention this one, I mean, look at this from IDEX, the way he goes for the site retake, and yeah, puts up absolutely everything, gets the wall down, gets the cascade down, and then gets the defuse in, and but the funny thing is actually all this work that he does here to try and get the bomb defuse, you can stop it with a satchel. Like if Raze chucks a satchel in and then blows it up, then, you know, unlucky, everything gets destroyed effectively. So yeah, there is some counter to this. I think that's kind of the key point, that yes, Harbor looks strong, and I mean, the way to retake, that this is a pretty difficult thing to stop, right, if you're trying to retake like this and putting everything in play, but a simple Raze satchel will potentially do some damage to stop the retake. So there is at least counters that are available. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.